Alright, and we should be live. Let me go ahead and check. Yes, we are in fact live. Awesome. Alright, hello everyone. Ace here. Welcome to the live stream. I'm joined today with returning guest Urusosium.
Hello everyone.
Hello Urus, and today we are back with some more Terror of Godzilla. Tokyo's in flames, and Godzilla's at the heart of the inferno. So for those who don't know, this is a comic book adaptation of Godzilla 1984, aka Godzilla 1985, aka Return of Godzilla. Oh, well, okay, so it's not... Okay, so 85, the 85 version of the film is very different from 84 in terms of the editing and some significant plot changes, but technically you could argue it's supposed to be the same film, but I digress.
We can nitpick a lot with this one.
Yeah, and good luck trying to find a copy of 1985 these days, because unless you... They never actually did an official DVD release of 85. They just did a VHS release, and the only option is to really find a bootleg copy of a TV broadcast of it.
Yeah, I miss those tapes. I know they were clunky, but, you know.
I miss them, but they also had a habit of, well, they did not stand the test of time very well.
No, not really. Okay, so shall we start?
Yep, we shall. Alright, so I guess I can voice the first guy here, the professor.
Yeah, go ahead.
330 feet in length, 650 feet in 333 feet in height, 650 feet in length. Weight, 55,000 tons. Gentlemen, Godzilla is not a problem that can be ignored.
Godzilla attacked the Aihama nuclear plant for a reason. I believe the monster destroyed the Soviet submarine several weeks ago for the same reason. Godzilla feeds on radioactive substances. For the time being, Godzilla has returned to the sea. But Japan has the energy he feeds on. He will certainly strike again.
Okay, I guess I can voice the guy on the left here then. How about it, Chief of Staff? What Professor... all right. How about it, Chief of Staff? If what Professor Hayashida says is true, can we stop Godzilla?
The country's military forces are on full alert and civilian volunteers are watching every inch of coastline. When Godzilla returns, we'll be ready. No matter how large he is, Godzilla is just an animal. He can be destroyed.
What about the creature's flame? We don't have a weapon that can stand against it.
Yes, we do.
What?
What weapon is he talking about?
He is speaking of the main sky battle tank. Gentlemen, the Super X.
The Super X? A flying fortress developed secretly to defend Japan against any conceivable enemy. It's the most advanced, most powerful weapon in the world.
The spokesman at government... A spokesman at the government's emergency headquarters said the military had been mobilized and that all forces were on full alert. But despite the government's show of force, the question remains... Can they really defend Japan against Godzilla?
No. I mean, if we go through canon, the Super X also gets wrecked. So...
I mean, yeah, if you want to spoil it, but... To be fair, this in the canon of this particular story, this is the second time that Japan has really faced Godzilla, and the last time you have to remember was in the 50s. So maybe they're hoping that their technology is advanced to a point where they can, reasonably put up a fight. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if we were to think this weapon is possible, the SpaceX is quite amazing. But Godzilla is used better.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and carry on. Tearful reunion for Godzilla's survivor and sister. I always believed my brother was alive.
Want me to try with the woman?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. You are terrible. Maybe you were just doing your job. I thought I could trust you, Mr. Mackey. Excuse me.
Great! Now Naoka hates me. I'm sorry, Okamura. I didn't mean to upset you and your sister. I never meant to invade your privacy. Yes, you did, motherfucker.
Yeah, this is not exactly a white lie, you asshole.
You deliberately told her about him just so you could take a photo and get a frontline page story.
Well, there are worse scumbags in Godzilla canon, but he wasn't exactly nice this time.
No, except, you know what? That's another thing, though. The 85 version completely cuts out the fact that he basically told her about the reunion just so he could get a story out of it. They completely cut out the fact that he's an asshole in the 85 version.
I still don't know why.
I don't know. The 85 version, I know for a fact, though, has a lot of, let's be honest, politicized editing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to argue otherwise in that particular case. Anyways, later! So why did Godzilla return to the sea at Yahama?
Probably because he did his fill. I know one nuclear reactor will be enough for me.
Was that really the reason? It looked to me like something interrupted him. He left the scene so suddenly. I wonder. That evening, in the offices of the Tokyo Star. Why did Godzilla break off his attack at Yahama? There's a reason. And I'm sure I can find it.
Shocked Pikachu face.
Okay, actually, let's go back to that. That is a meme-worthy face, if there ever was one.
Yeah, I mean, these comics don't have as many memes as the ones we have been reading as of late. But when they have a face, they have a face.
Yes, they do. Tokyo Harbor. Navy guns sweep the bay. Alert for the slightest sign of danger, but no scaly head, no spiny back ripples the glassy calm. All is quiet. In Slip 85, the Bala Sibo rocks gently in her berth. She is a Russian-registered freighter, but outfitted as something much more.
Who's that?
Translated from Russian.
Oh, it's you, Colonel. What's it?
I've just received word. We're going to disarm the system. The government has decided against using the missiles. Beep, beep.
Gentlemen, I need not remind you that my country adheres to 3 non-nuclear principles. Japan will never possess nuclear weapons.
TBA says dude gets the neck whiplash from looking at pictures.
That is some strong whiplash, man. Japan will never allow another country to bring nuclear weapons into its territory.
U.S. Special Envoy Rosenberg.
And Japan will never ask other countries to use nuclear weapons on its behalf.
Russian Special Envoy Chevsky. Also, is it just me, or does Chevsky here remind me of that one image of, about the, damn, it's been so long, but, you know, the one image with the bat that asks, "Are you a bad enough dude to save the president?" That's what it looks like.
A little bit. I mean, fuck. Let me. I need to check now.
I need to check too. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah, it's very close.
Yes, it is. They basically just reversed it.
You change the suit for a flight jacket, and it is almost the same.
Yep.
Funny coincidences.
All right. TBA says Rosenberg either has the worst receding hairline or a spectacular case of fetal alcohol syndrome going on there.
Maybe.
Well, you could project a movie on that thing, bro. But if I remember correctly, in the movie, he does have a receding hairline, so...
Maybe. Fuck. It has been so long since I last saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to voice Chevsky?
Well, I guess I can. Why not?
Okay.
How typical of your country to take such a self-serving stance. The crew of our submarine were actually the first victims of the monster. We have every right to retaliate.
Revenge? Is that what this is about? Perhaps in your countries it is different. But here we still remember the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Tell me, gentlemen, if Godzilla appeared in Moscow or in Washington, will either of you have the courage to suggest the use of a nuclear weapon to your own people?
Well, Well, orders are orders. Click. A magnetized card is inserted, and the coded signal is beamed to an orbiting launch platform some 2,300 miles above the surface of the Earth. Here, undetected, unsuspected by the rest of the world, a Russian missile bearing a 100 megaton atomic warhead awaits a launch signal. A signal that could portend the beginning of the end. 100 megatons is a hell of a lot of a nuke there.
Yeah, but I am not sure it will do much to Godzilla. I'm not sure there.
Maybe, but I'm just going to point this out. The Tsar Bomba, the biggest nuke ever made, was only 62 megatons. We could make a 100 megaton. The problem is that part of the problem is, well, back when they were testing the Tsar Bomba, the aircraft that they were using would not have been able to escape the blast radius, for one thing. Even the 62 megaton was really pushing that. And the other thing is, at that point, you're talking about so much energy that that you're actually talking about lost energy, because the explosion will be so massive that part of it will actually just exit the atmosphere.
Yeah, it will be quite a boom, but I don't know. There are enough crazy people out there to make this.
Yeah.
I mean, besides, the current plane nowadays will probably escape the blast radius, perhaps.
Maybe. Well, maybe not. But hey, with a satellite launch system like this, that's not really an issue.
Yeah, in this case, you don't have to care.
Anyways, to carry on. While in Tokyo Bay, portents of an equally ominous sort are being witnessed.
Got our free to base. I was spot something movement in the water. Something big. All station. It's Godzilla.
Oh.
All stations. Prepare to. Ah!
Yep, there will be a lot of that coming very shortly, I'm assuming. TBA says mounting that on a missile is quite a feat. The Zarabomba was the size of a small bus. Yeah, the Zarabomba, for those who don't know, was absolutely massive, as you could tell in the footage. I mean, obviously it is. It was the world's largest nuke ever used, but I digress. I'm not going to try even pronouncing that particular scream from Godzilla, because I'm just going to give it. I would give out the most derpiest sounding sound of all time.
And if you manage somehow, I don't think you could speak afterwards.
The Balasibo is tossed by the monster's violent thrashing.
Colonel.
What's happening? Deet, deet, deet. No! The launch system has been activated. Deet, deet, deet.
Oh.
Oh no! On the docks, there is a momentary confusion.
Move out, men!
Then 10-inch guns speak with the roar to rival thunder, only to have armor-piercing shells explode harmlessly against the scales as hard as diamonds.
Everyone, to your post. No matter what, we must allow Godzilla. We must not allow Godzilla on shore.
Blam blam.
It's no use. Or will have no effect.
And the missile is already launched. They didn't even give a countdown this time, just...
What's the use?
I mean, at least in the original, there was in the original version, they had a countdown, so if something went tits up, you know, like this sort of situation, they could deactivate the missile launch before it actually launched and, you know, sent a 100 megaton nuke into a city. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but in this case, you know, leave it on, just in case. And the moment Andre comes here with the coffee and touches the fucking button, we are all screwed. Why have a countdown?
I mean, you don't even need to press a button, apparently. Your boat can just be rocked and it sets off the launch sequence anyways.
Typical Russian engineer.
I'm just going to say, at least in the game Harvester, the colonel that had control of the missiles at least had to push a button.
That is something.
Admittedly, he had the worst possible placement for the button of all time, given that he was basically just a torso, and he decided to place the button on the bottom of his torso. So the moment he slipped and fell, it, you know.
Look, I don't have anything to say about that. That game is special, but
Yeah.
still, it is better than this one.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Well, let's continue because I think this may be based on the 85, but we are seeing some changes.
I think it might actually be a. Well, I was originally going to say that it was based on the 84 version. So far, it seems to still technically be based on the 84 version. Mostly. Partly because part of it because of the whole subplot of the guy, of the journalist getting the brother and sister to reunite just so he can take their photo. And the other thing being that technically the Russians didn't deliberately launch the missile, where in the 85 version the Russians absolutely deliberately launched the missile.
In this case, I am in between, because again,
it's still a... Yeah, this is still, though... I'd say this is an in-between, though, still sort of situation, but I digress. So now the missile is going in. Also note that the missile launch occurred much later on in the film because, again, the timer. Godzilla went through the rampage pretty much before the missile launched.
Yeah, in this case, Godzilla appears, launch the bomb.
Oblivious to the artillery fire and the tiny screaming creatures scrambling beneath his feet, Godzilla surges from the harbor.
Bring up the tanks. We must stop Godzilla here.
Type 74 tanks form a line between the monster and the nearby Tokyo Haneda airport. While at the airport... Please, let me get on the plane!
Remain calm. We are arranging emergency flights now.
Let my children on the plane first!
Wait your turn.
Elsewhere, cars jam the freeway. Honk, honk. and people... I know. And people fight to gain entrance to the overflowing civil defense shelters.
Let me in! Let me in! I have to, okay?
Yeah. Why have you stopped? Keep firing!
Sir, the cannon barrels are overheating.
I don't care! Keep firing, damn it! We've got to stop Godzilla. But...
Prime Minister, there is no stopping the monster. He's broken through our second line of defense. And he is heading for downtown.
Downtown? What happened to this military secret weapon? Maybe we should reconsider the offer by the Russians and the Americans.
Never. We have to believe in the Super-X will be able to stop Godzilla. Progress report.
They're loading cadmium shells now, sir. It's a delicate operation, one that can't be hurried. The Urakucho district in downtown Tokyo. Tokyo towers of steel and glass are about to meet their counterpart of flesh and bone. Crunch. Ronk. Distracted by the shimmering structures, Godzilla pauses, momentarily mesmerized by an unexpected sight. The monster stares fascinated by the fragmented creature that glares back at him. For fully 30 seconds, Godzilla remains immobile. My feeling when a mirror manages to do more to halt Godzilla than the entirety of the Japanese self-defense force.
Well, yes. I mean...
Also, that is one hell of a reaction meme there, too.
Yes. But I mean, when static defenses that usually have stronger and bigger projectiles than anything mobile, except maybe artillery, do nothing, and you say, send the tanks. I am not sure what you are expecting the tanks to do.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they're trying to find anything that could potentially punch through, and yeah, I'm trying to think the tanks that they would have had. I don't know if ships have really, the naval guns really have an equivalent to fin stabilized sabot rounds. Maybe they don't, and maybe that's the reason why they decided to try tanks. Because a saber round is basically, your modern day saber rounds are basically as made to be specialized in penetrating as much armor as possible.
Well, yeah.
Whereas,
Though, apparently Godzilla's scales don't give a shit.
yeah, obviously not. TBA says tanks with what? 105s after 10-inch cruiser guns barely annoyed it. Yeah, that will totally do more damage. Then get a bunch. Yeah.
I mean, let's be sincere. They are a bit desperate, but still.
For fully 30 seconds, Godzilla remains immobile. Long enough for the 105 guns to find their target. Blam! Rink. You mean they weren't hitting him before?
Excuse me. The traditional Godzilla wasn't exactly Speed McGee, It's not hard to hit.
I know. Meanwhile, unaware of what lies ahead, a commuter train rushes to maintain its customary schedule.
What?
Brakes strain to bring the hurtling train to a halt. But the action comes too late. Enraged by the cannon fire, Godzilla lashes out at the first target he sees. You need to give that a JoJo, oh my god.
Yeah, it fits.
Oh my god!
Oh god. Hey.
Koji, what is it?
Hey. No.
But...
Help us! Somebody help!
Crash!
Ooh.
At Professor Hayashida's headquarters.
Professor, Godzilla has reappeared, and he's hidden this way.
Professor, look at this!
Goro, we've got to go. Godzilla is back. If we don't evacuate now...
This is important, Professor. You've got to see it.
What is this?
It's a picture I took of the nuclear plant the other day. I was wondering why Godzilla suddenly returned to the sea that day. It didn't make sense. I knew there had to be some reason, and I thought perhaps the pictures I took might hold a clue. This picture was enlarged from that one. And this one was enlarged yet again. Don't you see the birds flying out to sea? I remember hearing their cries just before Godzilla stopped his attack. I think Godzilla heard them and was somehow distracted by them.
Sure. High frequency sound. I think you hit on something, Goro. That's it. If Godzilla is attracted to high frequency sounds, it could explain why he attacked the Russian sub. He was drawn to it as much by the sound of its sonar as by its nuclear power core. The same could hold true for the Haihama power plant. The high frequency hum from the generators could have attracted his attention. Then, after he destroyed the plant, the bird's cries drew him away. Godzilla is highly intelligent. Perhaps he has already come to associate high-frequency sounds with the presence of the nuclear energy he feeds on. If that is the case, we should be able to duplicate the frequency that attracts him and guide him.
Only one problem, Professor. Where do we got Godzilla 2? Find out the answer next issue.
Dun dun dun.
Star Wars Jedi Academy Leviathan. Okay. Looks like we got another Star Wars comic to potentially read. It's big, it's bad, and it's really mad. Gargantua. Now available on video. Price so low.
Don't you miss these old comics?
Price so low it's frightening. $14.98.
Well, as expected, a bit campy, but this is a very good comic.
Agreed. This is definitely an enjoyable read.
Though, as usual, we have to do the Russians as dirty as possible.
I mean, not as bad as in 85. Where, you know, they deliberately launched the missile in 85.
But still,
yeah, this is poking fun at Soviet engineering. Shit.
Or better say, what Soviet engineering? Is there engineering anywhere?
Ship gets slightly bumped by wave. 100 megaton nuclear missile. You have chosen death.
But still, movie or comic, this is very entertaining, and I miss it a lot.
Agreed. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not really. I mean, we usually nitpick these comics mostly because we are reading monsters, but of some different kind. There is nothing I'd like to complain, except maybe some of the earlier pages. I think the character you were voicing was the one that was speaking on the first pages, but I mean the first two panels. But they separated it in a way that I was not sure that was the case.
Alright.
But again, that is a nitpick. The comic was amazing, and I will recommend everyone that likes Godzilla to take a look.
TBA says, lol, giant monsters rampaging through the city. Whatever, not my problem. The trains will run on time. Yeah, but whether or not you'll actually get to your destination is another question altogether.
You might reach the destination, but not on your tracks.
Yep.
So, anything you want to add, perhaps?
Not really much on my end. It's definitely an easy recommendation as far as a comic to read.
The only problem now is we need more, and there are only 3 more issues.
Yep. Alright, so I think we're in a good time to go ahead and call it for the time being. So, yeah, this has been Ace.
And this has been Uros.
Thank you for being on.
Whenever you need me, man.
And to everyone else, hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.